Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So taking a little break from going outdoors and doing outdoorsy stuff, and here to review the Bear Grylls Netflix show, which is You vs Wild, but led by Bear Grylls. Now, as anyone who's seen some other videos on my channel might know, or probably literally any of my social media, I am a completely unashamed Bear Grylls fangirl. So when I saw this coming up on the pending Netflix series, I was extremely excited. The only thing I'd say I'm more excited for is the 100, but anyway, on to Bear Grylls. So I've watched the entire 8 episodes, but I haven't made every single choice in every single episode because I'm studying for an exam. I've got a lot of other stuff to do. But I just wanted to give my overall first views and first impressions on what I thought about the series. First thing is, I think that Bear Grylls knows exactly what his audience is and what they want, for absolute sure. If you look in any Bear Grylls comment section on any of his social media, you will see hundreds upon hundreds of people saying, "Let me come on this adventure with you. You know, I'll be trained by you," and all sorts of things like that. They're all really, really excited and interested in engaging with Bear Grylls, and he's actually found a way to do that en masse, and using the same kind of technology, which shouldn't really be that advanced of a technology, but has only just come to things like Netflix, which are a bit more mainstream, which essentially lets you pick a path, the same as the Black Mirror episode of Bandersnatch, which some people did explore every single path, but I'm afraid I didn't have the patience for that either. So that's a really good aspect, that you get to go along, you get to kind of control what you're doing, or what he's doing. You can make him do some pretty funny stuff, to be honest. You can make him do stuff that you know is dangerous just for the fun of it. You can make him kind of eat bear poo.
Oh. That to me looks like bear poo.
Just all sorts of, you know, silly like side things. You can make him eat poisonous mushrooms. You can make him eat uncooked limpets.
Check it out. Look, limpets. There are loads of these all along the shoreline here. You've got 40 calories or so in each one of those. Decide which one I'm eating for my energy source. It's up to you.
Never want to pass up food when you're in the wild.
You can make him eat a lot of stuff, but that aspect of like having the freedom of choice of where to go is really great. The only thing I'd say is I think it would be really good if expanding this idea, and I'm sure they can come up with the technology, you know, you can have a few different options. For example, in the Steve Jackson Choose Your Own Adventure books, which I used to read copiously when I was a child, you know, you can have up to usually 4, or I've seen even more choices, which surely would be easier to implement in a digital format than in just a literature format. I'd say the type of reason for the quest is maybe a little bit limited. So just to be aware, if you don't want any spoilers about the types of missions there are, then click away now.
A few days ago, some hikers went missing. Search and rescue did eventually find them. In the process, one of the rescue dogs got lost. But we've got a pretty important mission, and I'm going to need your help. The plane carrying precious cargo has crash-landed in the desert. But a doctor who's delivering medicine to a remote village has gone missing.
So there's going to rescue a doctor. There's a couple of ones where you're going to rescue different types of medicines like vaccines and anti-venom, going to collect anti-venom for yourself off of the actual animals, going to rescue a rescue dog himself that's got lost, and some purely just dropped into the middle of the wilderness, can I get out to civilization type adventures, which are the later ones in the sort of run of episodes, possibly when they run out of ideas, although I'm not sure how hard it is to come up with ideas for these types of things. But whatever is the reason for it, even though the reasons are relatively limited, the style of adventure really tends to remain the same. There's either a sort of progression choice in which you like, should I walk through this cave or should I climb up this rope, or there's a kind of survival choice, which is like, should I stop and get warm with the fire, or should I just carry on and try and get warm by moving? Those kind of things. And they're actually really interesting and engaging for the first few episodes, but I'd say that they start to become samey after a few, and there's only 8 episodes, but after maybe 4 episodes, I'm kind of like, no matter how excited I was for the first run of these episodes, I just started to feel myself drifting off, like it was just a little bit too samey for me. I definitely think it's worth going back through them. I mean, if you're the kind of person that has time to sit and go through every option of the Netflix series, and plenty of people do, because plenty of people completely mapped out Bandersnatch, which I thought was amazing. You could probably get some really really fun decisions, really fun tangents, you know, make yourself a little map of what choice leads where, and you know, it would be a fun little way to pass the time.
Got a wolf. So what are we gonna do here? I got a spear, an aggressive looking wolf.
Overall, I would say is feedback. Really entertaining for the first few, but then starts to sort of lose steam and lose innovation partway through. Bear Grylls, I absolutely love you. Definitely won't see this review, so it probably doesn't matter. I think you're very smart with what you've done here, and I think that people probably will be buying, you know, Netflix subscriptions just to do these adventures. And yeah, it's on Netflix. So if you've got Netflix already, like quite a lot of people, then you know, you can just go on there and do it. But you do need a compatible device, which literally I just did it with like my shitty laptop, so I don't think it's that hard to find a compatible device. But for example, your phone, I think, doesn't count, and a lot of the smart TVs don't count as a compatible device. So that's definitely an issue. And of course older computers as well won't count as a compatible device. So these were just a few thoughts about the Bear Grylls, new Bear Grylls You vs Wild series. I didn't want to go too far into it, do a deep dive or anything, because I feel like maybe a lot of people are just wanting to have a quick look and maybe at some reviews and just see whether it might be their type of thing. So it will be your type of thing if you're a Bear Grylls fangirl. If you're a fan of any kind of choose your own adventure or like gaming style thing, if you're kind of like a casual adventurer, for sure. Maybe not so much if you're kind of an elite level adventurer, because some things such as I need to hunt for food, and I'm thinking, didn't you bring food? And something such as I need to make a torch so I can go into a cave.
Make a torch out of this. I'm gonna need something though to wrap around this to then keep burning.
Who in their right mind goes into the wilderness and does not bring some form of torch? I always have my head torch with me when I'm going for like a 5-hour walk. Just because you never fucking know what's going to happen. So it beggars belief that bringing stuff like food and torches is kind of like, oh, now I need to improvise my own. But he does have a completely empty dry bag to use as a flotation device to get out of a bog.
Instead of the backpack, use the dry bag inside.
And I'm just like, I mean, my dry bags are all full of stuff I don't want to get wet, but okay. So there's that. I think maybe if you're a little bit more seasoned, you will realise that a lot of the Bear Grylls show is smoke and mirrors. It's not a surprise to anyone. No one really thought that he was doing everything by himself, surviving by himself. People realise that it's a show, it's for entertainment, there's definitely made up purposes, and he's probably going back to his 5-star hotel afterwards. And Bear Grylls, no disrespect to you, fucking hell, if I had that amount of money, I would be all over that. All over those 5-star hotels. Go out in the day, 10 hours, come back to my 5-star hotel. But it may potentially be looked down upon a little bit by people with a little bit more experience. So I'd love to hear people's viewpoints about it from those different, excuse me, from those different kind of sectors. So really, especially if you hate Bear Grylls and you really don't like what he represents and you think that he's kind of like a fraudster and all those types of things and rumours that are out there about him. I'm a fangirl, but I'm not a stan, you know, like I can discuss him, so like it would be really, really interesting to hear what people thought about it, and especially if they like to critique Bear Grylls and have also watched the show. That would be awesome. So please comment below, or if I posted somewhere, comment on the comments below that, or just email me or whatever, because it's really interesting to hear what people think about all these types of things. So that's the end of my video about Bear Grylls. I'm going to give a brief update about what's happening with me now, so if anybody finds that really boring, then please turn off. So basically, if you follow my Instagram, NoObstacle, you may have seen that the other day I did something particularly stupid. I fell out of a tree. So yeah, so I fell out of a tree directly onto my back, and the arsehole doctor says, when he thought that I couldn't hear, "What the fuck was she doing up a tree?" I was like, okay, well, whatever. As long as I can climb trees, I'm gonna climb trees. But clearly it turns out that I can't climb trees very well, because I came out the tree, landed on my back. I'm having some difficulty moving just now, and really my main focus is just to get better in time for stuff that I need to do for my studies. So I'm sort of going on these little short, like, crone walks, like trying to walk with a stick, which is interesting because I look, you know, I look relatively young. I sort of get people just walking in my path and all the kind of things that people do when they think like they want to barge past you or they're in a hurry and stuff like this. Then they don't realise that the reason I'm walking like this with like a walking stick is because my back is totally fucked. So I've actually had to say to people before, like, I've had weird standoffs in the middle of the path where people have almost like not refused to move but just sort of waited for me to move, and I'm like, I really can't jerk my back too much, so is there a possibility you can move? So there's been that little difficulty, but you know what, I don't want to moan about that too much because that's boring as all hell, and whilst I'm moaning about that, you know, I could be planning my next adventure. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for listening to me ramble about myself at the end there. And please like and subscribe if you like the video, or if you like any of my other content on my channel, then please go and check that out. I'm going to have a couple of links to it throughout the video. Thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you soon.